Thanks for joining us today. I'm Gabe Garish, owner of Backwoods Pursuit, and today we're going to do a Kowa Spotting Scope review. We've got three awesome Kowa Spotting Scopes here. The Kowa TSN 883 right here. We've got the Kowa TSN 773, and then their compact spotter, the Kowa TSN 553. Going to go over some of the differences, some of the similarities here, and throw a phone scope on each of these side by side for you so you can check them out here. Stick around for that. Also check out the website backwoodspursuit.com, where we got a review featuring these three as well as 19 total spotting scopes. See how these stacked up against the competition. They did awesome, but you're gonna want to check that out. Put a link to that down in the description, as well as a link to Facebook and Instagram accounts. Go check us out, follow us there, and check out these. I'll put links to these three spotters down in the description as well, so you can check them out for yourself. Let's get started. First up, let's go over some of the similarities and differences in these spotting scopes. You got size, obviously a major difference here: 55mm, 77mm, and 88mm. Their naming convention is a 553, obviously 55mm, 773 and 883 is the 77 and the 88. The eyepieces that you can put on these, they do have a couple, but the ones I've got here are the Prominar 25 to 60, and the 773 and the 883 use the same eyepiece. The 553 here uses its own eyepiece and it's not detachable, whereas these two can be detached and swapped out for their fixed eyepiece if you want that one instead. This is a 15 to 45 rather than a 25 to 60. So you've got less magnification on the 553, which you could imagine in a compact spotter. Now, differences in the glass: both the 88mm and the 55 come with their Pure Fluorite lens, and that's a fantastic lens. It gives you an awesome picture. The 77 still has the same eyepiece, the Prominar eyepiece, but the glass here is an XD. It's a Kowa's XD glass. It's not quite at the level of the Pure Fluorite crystal, of course, but it's absolutely excellent. You should check out how this one did in the 65mm and the 85mm class in that comparison. It ranked really high in both categories. So take nothing away from the 77 here. Weight wise, the 55mm here comes at 28.5 ounces, just incredibly lightweight, especially with the image that you get out of this. The 77 comes in at 59 ounces and the 88 comes in at 65. All really impressive in their weights, particularly an 88mm spotter for 65 ounces and a 77mm spotter for 59 ounces. So really excellent that way. Another awesome feature of these Kowa spotting scopes that they all have is this awesome Kowa dual focus system. This one out on the end here is your fine focus, and the larger one here is your coarse focus. It was one of the favorites of all of our testers. Everybody seemed to really love their dual focus system because it's just really smooth and allows you to resolve that image at longer distances easier than some of the barrel focus systems that are out there. So that is really awesome that way. Now, price point on each of these: the 553 here comes in at $1,800, the 773 comes in at $2,300, and the 883 at $3,150, and that's just general ballpark retail prices I found out there. So there's some, for what you get here, you get a really great value. The optical quality you get here is just incredible. So the uses that I've found on each of these: now, if I'm going ultralight and want to be backpacking, going a long distance, this 553 is absolutely tough to beat. It is just incredible. It's 28.5 ounces. It's really tough to beat that on anything else that I found out on the market, especially given the image quality that you get out of this spotting scope. Now, the 883 is kind of a fantastic, obviously top of the line type spotter, where if you're needing to, say, do a trophy mule deer hunt or trophy elk hunt where you're needing to look a long distance, that is an awesome option. If you can do both of these, that's just a killer combination. You cover your backpack hunting trips and your long range type mule deer or long range spotting type situations. Now, if that's out of the budget, and totally understandable if it is, this 773 doesn't leave much to be left wanting, even compared to the 883. The 883 is a little bit better in some situations, some of the lighting situations, but not by a ton, and you just get an absolute incredible value with this 773. So if you can only buy one, this 773 is the one I would grab. It's 59 ounces again, just a little bit more than some of the 65s out there, but less than other 65s out there. And you get a 77 millimeter objective, and it does awesome in low light situations. Now, another great option you've got with these Kowas is an extender here. This takes your 25 to 60, and it'll fit on either the 773 or the 883. Doesn't fit on the 553, obviously, because you can't remove that eyepiece. But these ones here, you can take this from 25 to 60 up to, if I recall correctly, 44 to 96, 92, right around there for this extender. I can't remember the exact specs on that. But the way this works, basically, if you want to put that on there, I'd recommend putting that on there, just leaving it, rather than trying to change this out in the field. Obviously, you don't want to take your spotting scope apart out in the field if you don't have to, but there's a little button right here. Go ahead and just push that button, pull this out, and then you need to unscrew that guy as well, and the eyepiece comes out. Now, once that's out, you go ahead and take your caps off of the extender here, pull that off like that, go ahead and put that on here. It screws right on, and then you go ahead and put, you'll have an extra ring there, so leave that off for now, and then you go ahead and put your lens right back on there, and it goes right back in that same spot, and now you're set. So it really doesn't add much weight or even much size there, but it gives you a lot more magnification in your spotting scope if that's what you need for certain situations. That's a great option as well. Now, as you can see, the Kowa scopes do not have a rubber armor on here. They're made of magnesium alloy. Rubber armor is nice and protective, but at the same time it adds weight, and weight you don't necessarily need, especially with a magnesium alloy body. It's super, super durable. It does transfer the cold to your hand a little bit more when you're using it, but not really something that has to be there. And I didn't find it to be really a big deal. Now, the eyepieces here, you've got a 5 position on the 553 here, and then on the 773 and the 883, you've got a 4 position, 4 options as far as on those eyepieces. So you get a little bit more with the 553, more options, but you get less eye relief. The 553 has 16 millimeters of eye relief, whereas the 883 and 773 have 17 millimeters. So throwing the phone scope on here, you can start to see just how amazing of an image you get out of this. This is the 553, and you can really start to see some of the differences in the field of view between the 553 and the 773 and 883. So you get a narrower field of view, obviously, with this 55 millimeter. You don't get any rollerball effect, or fisheye, or whatever you want to call it. So it gives you a nice clean flat field of view, just really good color definition, and it's just a fantastic little spotter. So I'm going to try to zoom this in as the best I can without shaking this, and just bring that in. There we go. So you can see you get a pretty good magnification. I'm going to go ahead and focus this now. Now, there at the top end of the magnification on the 553, you still get just a really crisp picture. Obviously, when you put a phone scope on here and add the lens of the camera, or the phone in this case, you're going to lose some of the clarity, so take that into account. It's actually better than what you see here, but you just get a fantastic image out of this 553. Now, moving back to the 15x range here, you can see you do get a little bit more of this tunnel fill than you'll see here in a second with the other two, the larger objectives. Just what comes with the territory on the 553, you just get a fantastic scope, but your field of view is smaller by a bit than the others. Now, moving over to the 773 here, we are at the minimum zoom here of 25x, whereas on that 553 minimum zoom was 15. So you have more magnification, but at the minimum zoom you can see you just have a much larger field of view to start. You'd still have that nice flat field of view. You don't have rollerball effect or anything like that as we move across. So real nice that way, really good image color. And as I zoom through this, again, I'll try to be as careful as I can to not give this any shake. Now, zoomed all the way in on the 773 here, obviously just a fantastic picture, nice and crisp and clear edge to edge. And again, phone scope doesn't really do justice for that, but it does give you a nice clear image of what you're going to see in the 773. And then I go to back this out again, and it gives you a nice smooth transition, and that is at now minimum 25x with really minimal adjustment needed to bring that back into full focus. Now, moving to the 883 here, same eyepiece as the 773, just bigger objective in the 88, and you get the Pure Fluorite crystal lens on the 883. And you're going to be hard pressed to see much of a difference here in good daylight like this. When you get to some of the lower light conditions, that's when you really notice the difference here. But same as the 773, great color definition, no rollerball effect, nothing, nice flat field of view, and just a fantastic image. Now go ahead and zoom this in for you. Same, I'll try not to bounce this around too much on you. And go ahead and do that. And it doesn't take much to get you back into focus here, just a little bit of a focus there, and you get right back to your really good quality image. There's not a whole lot that's much better, if anything, out there than this 883. Just a fantastic image you get with the spotting scope. Now zooming this back out again, you don't lose a ton of your focus, so it doesn't take much to get you back right into where you want to be as far as image clarity, image focus. So that's a rundown of the Kowa spotting scopes. I'll put a link to all these down in the description for you so you can check them out for yourself. If any of these look like something that might interest you, drop any questions or comments in the comment section. We'll help point you in the right direction as far as what's going to work best for your situation. Thanks for watching here today. We'll see you next time.